Hey guys, I'm Ben.
And I'm Tommy.
And we're talking board games.
And today we're talking... I almost said a game that it's not. Thunderstone Quest.
Definitely Thunderstone Quest.
Yeah, well...
In case you can't see that ginormous box.
Look at this box. This is massive for a deck builder.
For a deck builder, yes.
Now, how do I feel about deck builders, Ben?
Tommy, you feel deck builders are one-dimensional and very luck-driven.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's pretty much...
Cool, nice.
Yeah, you got it. So this will be a really interesting review. Why don't you tell us how the game plays, Benjamin?
Well, if you're unfamiliar with deck building, you start with a generic deck of cards.
Yay.
Typically, very few, 10 to 12. In this game, 12. Same deck as everyone else. And over the course of the game, you are buying new cards to add to your deck, all in an effort to try and amass points. But
perform people.
Yeah, it's an efficiency. You're building an engine with your deck. And what's different with Thunderstone Quest is you are not doing this to purchase cards, like in other games, but you're doing this to enter a dungeon and fight monsters.
Right.
You're going in there and you're fighting them, and then those give you points, which you can in turn use to upgrade your heroes that you have in your hand, which make you even stronger, enabling you to fight stronger monsters, giving you more points.
Right.
So the game has a great sense of progression and escalation, and they've done a really good job. In case you're unfamiliar, Thunderstone has been around for a while. This is like the third or fourth implementation of it. And they went all out, and they've done a really good job at making this, hopefully, what I feel is the best version of Thunderstone out there.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I've never played Thunderstone.
You haven't. I had Thunderstone Advance. It went out of print, and I was like, hey, I could get a pretty penny for this. And so I sold it. And I kind of regretted it up until Thunderstone Quest came around. So I picked it up.
By the way, guys, make sure that you stick around for the rest of the video because we're going to have some hints for a giveaway that we're going to be doing once we hit 200 subscribers. So, pay attention.
Yes. You don't need to take notes or anything, but see if you can pick up on the subtle hints. They're going to be
very subtle. You'll never be able to guess them. They're really tough. So
deck building. What is this? Does this?
Deck building
it is a straightforward
terrible mechanic.
This is not Clink. This is not Quest for El Dorado. This is not Aeon's End. This does not add new, profound,
This is everything Thunderstone.
This is Thunderstone. Deck building.
This is deck building at its purest form. Just like Dominion, just like... Dominion, Aeon's End, I guess. It's deck building, and there's no like exclusions to. Well, I guess deck building Aeon's End is a little weird with
the co-op and the way your deck is in shuffle. It adds new stuff to this. This is deck building.
Yeah. At its purest form, you're adding cards to your deck, and you know Dominion was fine for me when I was first getting into the hobby. It was an interesting new thing.
It is a great gateway game. That's what it's known for.
Right, and it's just not something I want to play really anymore. It's fine to sit there and like build your engine and to be like, boom, that was cool, that was fun, but it's almost a little too long for what it is. And I had the same problem with this game. Yeah, it's almost it's a bit long. It drags on, especially with a full player count.
And it's just a card game.
It is. Like, it's just a card game.
It's not.
It does have some superfluous minis, if you ask me. Like those minis are a little bit unnecessary.
Despite being superfluous, like 3 of them look the same.
Yes. Yes.
It's like, I can't even tell
wait, is that one yours or mine?
So, yeah, AEG. You tried.
So, what do I think?
What do you think?
I thought this game was amazing.
What?
I really enjoyed this game. Yeah? I really did.
So this game does some stuff differently. You have the way you're leveling up your characters. That's something that's kind of cool and unique to it. What else makes this?
Well, I thought that the quests were really cool.
Okay.
I picked my quest. And
the side quest.
Yeah, the side quest.
Which I believe is new to Thunderstone. I think that's new in this version.
Well, so I picked my quest and I was like, I guess I'll do this, right? Mm-hmm. It was like, get endgame points this way or endgame points this way. And I put that down and I attempted to reach that goal, which I did fairly well if I do say so myself.
Yeah, that was what pushed you ahead.
Yeah. Alex got a different quest and like 3 or 4 turns in revealed it, and I'm like, no, you wait till the end. And he's like, not mine. No. I'm like, what? And he got like this cool item like halfway through the game.
Legendary item.
It was so cool.
It was super cool.
Yeah, and I was like, that is awesome that the quests are that varied, that it's not just like how differently can I score points, but
Yeah, and like it's such a cool idea. Like it's so simple. I don't know why their deck builders haven't given you some sort of personal objective you're trying to accomplish.
Right.
Because it seems like that's an issue with deck builders. Sometimes it's very simple just to do, everyone do the same thing. It seems the most efficient, we're going to do it. But this actually forces you to try and do something different.
Now, one of the things, thinking about this now, there's monsters. And the monsters are different. But I really didn't feel like they were that unique between them. Like you had, what did we have, like goblins and...
Within the game there's like goblins, hobgoblins.
Mummies.
There's like earth elemental type things. And like there's all... I guess we only did the first quest, which is probably the most basic of monsters. So that's what's meant to introduce people to the game.
Okay, maybe that's what it was then. Because I really didn't see, like each monster, yeah, it had like a different ability and like a different thing, but it wasn't... And again, it's a deck builder, I get that. But when I had my hero felt like I was using that hero.
Yeah.
Like when I was a dwarf, I got a benefit from using edged weapons.
Yeah.
And when I was a cleric, when I played that cleric, I could heal myself, and it was
give buffs to
yeah, like it was so cool.
Very thematic in that sense.
And you had to have weapons to benefit and to do all this other stuff. And
I
it
think
was so
the way
cool.
the monster decks work is it'll probably become more apparent as we play it more. But they're like a small subtle theme to each one. So I know, which is cool because this game, a lot of games that are deck builders come with those randomizer cards, right?
Right.
And it's just a copy of that card. This game, on the randomizer card for the different monsters, it actually states the specific kind of theme of that monster.
Interesting.
So it'll say this monster causes you to discard weapons. And
yeah, there was the one
each monster
that had
within that type is going to have some sort of variation or take on discarding.
Sure.
Or this monster is going to cause you to lose heroes, or this monster will give you wounds based on something. And so I think that...
Well, it did cause me to avoid certain things, because I was
Which
like,
is
I'm
enough
not
to make it
losing
kinda cool.
my highest ranked human. No.
Yeah.
Especially when I have a handful of like 2 or 3 ranked humans. It's like, these are points at the end of the game. No way.
Yeah, no. It causes you to make some interesting decisions, and those decisions also arise from a new feature also added to the game, which is the dungeon. So in previous versions, you've had a dungeon which was, I think, 3 to 4 different slots, depending on which side of the board you played on, and you got to choose which of those you fought, and they kind of just came out kind of like a card row.
Okay.
But in this dungeon, it is actually like locations, and they're assigned to the different levels of the dungeon. So you have like, I think the city gate is like one of the most basic ones, and you get there and you have like the throne room, and you can like go fight them at the pyramids, and there's the apothecary.
Pretty sure we never fought anybody at the pyramids.
Well, there's lots of stuff to the game.
Oh, okay.
But there's different locations.
Is that an expression that people are using nowadays?
Like, the pyramids. It's just all encompassing, right? But like, there's different locations, and based on those locations, it's going to add different effects on top of the monster effects.
Interesting. Oh,
like
yeah, no,
someone gave added
right,
defense to the
some
monster.
of them gave you extra points.
Yep, someone gave you extra points, but they gave you an extra 2 wounds, and so
right.
you have a lot more decisions.
They bestowed upon you an extra 2 wounds.
Yeah, take your wounds. No, like it made it more interesting because it's like, well, I can fight this guy over here, who's going to give me less points, but I don't take an extra wound, but I get a treasure. Or I can go over here and fight this guy, but he's going to cause me to lose my greatest hero, but I can get a lantern and give me light, which will help next turn if I want to go further. So it gives you a lot more to think about as far as which monsters you're going to fight.
Let me ask you this. Are there different end game conditions, or is it find the keys, beat the boss?
As far as I'm concerned, it's find the keys, beat the boss.
Okay.
But there are different bosses, which will affect the game differently.
Based on like their end game? Because the one that we fought, it was like killer, for each damage you do, half it. I think
that's the generic way it goes.
So there's other ones that are different.
Maybe. I haven't looked at all. There's a lot of the Kickstarter.
There's a ton of cards. There's a ton of cards. I am most excited to see the different heroes, because they're
cool, man.
I was not anticipating to like this game. I'm not going to enjoy it.
No, I was not expecting to enjoy it.
But first of all, I think when you switch a deck builder from a hand of 5 to a hand of 6, it's automatically better. Mm-hmm. Personal preference. Right? Because when you have 5 cards, it just seems like you're so much more limited.
Yeah.
That one extra card, I never felt like I was in a position where I couldn't do anything. And maybe that's because of the way that this game is designed, where...
Because you have 2 options every turn.
You can go to the market, or you could go to the dungeon. And if you have a lantern in your hand, you could do both, as long as you don't leave the wilderness.
Which is basically a place to level up your lower level
guys.
It's
a really cool... a lot of the stuff gives you money, so it puts you in a position where if you can't go fight, you can go buy.
Yeah, but you should be able to do one or the other. But if heaven forbid you cannot do either one, you have no money, you have no no monsters you can take down. You have the option of going to the temple, which is the new thing in this. There are locations within the market, so you always get your market action, but there are special locations where you get an added benefit. And going to the temple lets you take as many cards from your hand and put them on top of your deck, guaranteeing you draw those next turn.
Interesting.
Which is
I never used that.
You did do that? I did it quite a few times. I didn't win, so maybe it's not a good idea to do. But anyways, you draw your one really good hero, and you're like, I don't have a weapon for him. He can wield any of these big weapons I have, but now I've got to go through my entire... No, you go to the village, use all your other cards to buy a new card, put him back on top of your deck, and hopefully you'll draw him along with another weapon and another hero, enabling you to go to the dungeon.
Or even if you don't have enough strength, you can go there and just buff up your hand for next turn. Just stack your hand to stack your deck.
And another thing that's cool too is so this was me and Derek had each played a version of Thunderstone. You and Alex hadn't. And one of you guys asked, why would I go, because we talked about if you can't defeat the monster, right? You take the wound anyways, but you get no point. You're like, why would you go to the dungeon to fight the monster if you can't beat it? But it's kind of got a press your luck element. It's like, okay, I've got 2 cards in my hand that are comboing together to let me draw 2 more cards.
Right.
But I can't do that until I'm in the dungeon. I can probably beat that guy, but if I get lucky on my card draw, I could probably beat that guy.
It gives you 2 more points.
2 more points and a treasure. And it's like, well, let's go for it. And they flip over the top 2 cards.
And one of the things, one of the turns that I had played all of the cards in my deck except for one. I had everything in my hand and in my discard except for one. And I knew what it was. So I was like, okay, I'll go in there and I'll draw and I'll just play it. And I was able to... It's got enough of a I recognize that this card hasn't been drawn aspect that I feel like a lot of deck builders are missing. Because a lot of times, this card allows me to buy 2, draw 1, and it gives me 2 coins. Whereas this one gives me 1 coin, allows me to draw 4, and I can play 1 extra action. It's like, what? Yeah. What's the, where's the variability? This was like, oh man, I want my cleric because I need to heal. Or, man, do I need that dwarf because I need to deal some extra damage. It's just...
And the thing is, wounds are new, too. Which is kind of cool, because the more wounds you have,
the
hand size
the fewer
goes
cards
down,
you can get, yeah.
Which a lot of these monsters will give you wounds, and so it's like, well, I can take the wound, but next turn I'm only drawing 4 cards, that's not going to really do me much. So then you got to be able to heal, which brings you into... which introduces the need for, clerics and stuff. And there's not a ton of different currencies, but there's enough... different, I don't want to call them resources. Yeah. Enough stuff to manage that it makes it kind of tricky.
Yeah, because with the bread and the lanterns and the potions, that potion really helped me out that one time, so I could draw 1 extra card.
Yeah, which can be the decision between being able to fight something and not fight something.
Exactly. And so how does the game end? You beat the boss.
So you stack the monster decks with these key cards, which is also new. Before it was you had the monster boss, whatever, at the bottom of the deck, and when it came up, and you tried to fight it. But this time, it's on a timer. You're finding these keys, and there's more keys in the lower level dungeons. So it incentivizes
automatically draws the game out because you need to go.
Exactly, which takes more time. But as you find these keys, once you have 4 keys, the boss appears in the wilderness, and you can fight the boss, and you get 1 last turn to do so, drawing some extra cards, trying to build a optimal hand because you're going to get points based on how much combat strength you can do.
Right. And then who wins the game?
So you're collecting, over the course of the game, fighting stuff, these victory points, which are Thunderstone shards, but you can think of them as prayer points type thing. But as you collect these points, you can use those, A, to upgrade your characters, and B, save them to the end. Upgrading your characters will often give you points, but not as many as you would have had you kept the original points. So you're going to add those up, you're going to add up the value...
Unless you get twice as many points for each level 3 one that you have in your deck.
Yeah, unless you get that cool side quest. But you're also going to get points for side quests. You're going to get points based on the cards you have in your deck. Certain cards will let you more points. Right. Which is kind of interesting because the spear was a card you could discard to get a big combat bonus.
But it gave you 2 points.
But it was 2 points you
kept. Point or something.
I think it was 2 or 3. Yeah. It was a good chunk of points if you kept it in your deck.
Yeah.
So even more interesting decisions there. But you add up your cards, you add up the points you collected, and you add up your quests or whatnot. And whoever has the most victory points wins.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because Alex had the most throughout the entire game. But he didn't win. Because it's still a deck building game.
You know what I think, though? I think that if Alex was more paying attention to all of the stuff that he could have done, because he wasn't healing with his cleric. and he would draw one and he wouldn't.
No, he wasn't.
I think he could have won, and he also wasn't using his like military or whatever it was, the bonus affiliate that you get.
Oh, the guild bonus.
Yeah. So cool. I think that he probably could have won if he was more so paying attention to all of the. But there's a lot going on. This is not. Hey, you guys want to come play a cool game that I just got that you've never heard of? This is like, grab your friends that like to play games, play deck builder.
But I feel like if you had people who are willing to learn, the game is interesting enough that people who aren't gamers,
I don't know,
could sit down and enjoy it.
This has got some, with the wounds and the treasures
to play well, but you could play poorly. And
say that about any game.
But like it would be frustrating. Like some games, if you don't understand it, it becomes frustrating.
Sure.
And it's like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm not having fun. This is just frustrating. I'm confused.
I think it would have to be a next step after Dominion.
Oh yeah.
I think if it's like, oh, you've played Dominion, let me show you this.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you could go from Monopoly.
No. I taught Thunderstone Advanced to my sister-in-law, my wife, my brother-in-law, who weren't players of games, and they got it. Like, I don't know if they had a great time playing it, but they understood it. This adds a lot more to it. But the theme is cool. The heroes is cool, especially if you know people who are into like D&D and stuff that like the theme. They would just enjoy fighting monsters, leveling up their heroes, getting cool items and stuff. Especially like the treasures. But
this is a really solid deck builder. Again, in my opinion, a little on the long end. That could have just been our playthrough. But
it was a learning game for two people, so yeah.
Yeah, definitely go check it out. I mean, hate deck builders, love this.
Yeah.
Considering getting it myself.
Really? You don't own any deck builders.
I don't own any deck builders.
And that's the thing too. This is a game that to me is an evergreen. It's a game that there's no reason not to hang on to and keep forever.
Until it sells for $400 again and you get rid of it.
Right.
To fund your next Monolith / CMON game.
Anyways, AEG, well done on revitalizing Thunderstone. You done an excellent job.
You done well.
Go check it out. Not much more to say.
No, other than make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And, of course, keep an eye out for our giveaway. We will be giving away a game, an unopened game. Make sure that when that comes out, you've got the hints that we were able to provide for you.
We will give you the instructions
and then, on
how to utilize those hints to the maximum benefit.
Exactly.
But yeah, it should be, after this comes out, we're not going to put it out in a month or so. So if you see this,
I don't know. It depends on when we hit 200 subscribers.
Well, hopefully you guys start subscribing so we can get that video out soon.
Yeah, you guys.
You guys, gals. Them. It's late. We got to go.
Yeah. See you guys later. Thanks.